or I will do for development part.
Geeks for Geeks has a challenge for you, the 390 challenge. Choose what you want to learn in 2024 and aim to complete at least 90% of the course in the next 90 days. And if you do that, you get back 90% of what you paid for the course. We believe you can do that. Now all you got to do is commit to your success. Commit with Geeks for Geeks.
Start.
Hello everyone. I hope we are clearly visible and audible. Please confirm us in the chat. Okay, let's wait for another 1 or 2 minutes. People are still joining. Let's get started. Good evening, everyone. Let's get started. Let's welcome you to this let's welcome you again to this series, this podcast series, where we'll be today discussing about data science versus development. So we have Ishjot available for us. Please, Ishjot.
So hi everyone. Today we'll be discussing like data science versus development, and like I work like currently I'm like a SD2 at Geeks for Geeks, and I'm also work here as a course mentor. Okay, so I'll be speaking for the development part, and on the other hand, with me I have Sahil who will be speaking on the data science part. Okay, so in this session, basically today's session we'll be discussing like the pros and cons, like what's the difference between the data science and versus development, what you guys can opt for as a data science as a career or as a software developer as a career. So we'll like try to discuss the plus and the minus of the like the career on the career part, which career you can opt for as per your requirement, as per your flexibility. So we'll be discussing on the both the parts, the data science and the development. Okay, so Sahid, would you like to go first with the data science part, like give some small introduction how
Sure.
what data science is all about, or shall I start with the development part?
Sure, let's start. So let me just give you some brief about myself also. So my name is Sahil. I'm a mentor at Geeks for Geeks for the data science field. So today, let me discuss a very brief, because data science and AI is a very interesting field, and everyone has been limelighting about this. That what is this data science? Everyone is enrolling into this data science or AI, but you should know that whether this particular domain is good for you or not. Is it a good fit for you or not? Because in data science we have a lot of domains, but if we talk about data science in general, as a very general term, what is this data science? Now we are generating huge amount of data in the form of videos, text, images. Everything is getting known as a data only. But to use this data in a particular manner, to use it for a business purpose, to use it to get some insights which can help businesses grow, which can help you take better decisions, that is what is all about the data science. Yes, development piece.
So coming to the development part, like in general, when we start learning basic concepts of computer science or software programming, we learn some programming languages. Then we move up to some advanced level, like learning some data structures, algorithms, and some frameworks. So in general, development is like basically means software development, where you write code. In general, as a developer, you like thousand lines of a code or millions lines of a code to build a particular software. So in general, software is a kind of in today's modern term, software is often termed as an application, where we also have the short name as the apps. Okay, so in development you basically try to build full application, where one would be the client side application, end user would be using that UI to use that application, and on the other side you will have the business logic which would be there on something called as a server, also another like a cloud computer kind of a thing, which would be interacting with the client through the backend code, which would be connected to some sort of a database where you would be like storing some data, manipulating some data, and like getting out some results for the like getting some results from that data to show it to the end user. Also, with the help of that huge amount of generated data, you could also use the data science field to like channelize some good decisions for your end users. Okay, so that is some kind of common part where the data, when you like generate a lot of data, so with the help of like data science you can make some better business decisions. Okay, so
Definitely, as he mentioned, that data science and development are both a domain or both a part of this computer science only, where development has been used to create user defined application to make interactions of computer with the humans much more better. There on the back end, we are helping those data, we are collecting those data, we are using the data sent by the front end or the development, the data sent by them, we are using that data to make that experience much more better, to suggest better ways of making the things much more better. Now if we take an example of Amazon, Amazon is a very trending thing and everyone have used it, right? But if you know that, first let's talk about the development part of Amazon. Can you
Okay.
please explain about some part of Amazon?
Yeah. So in general, Amazon, everyone is almost familiar with Amazon, or it's like application where Amazon is kind of a e-commerce application where you can buy like products, you can pay for the products, then you have the orders and the carts where you can like track your orders, you get the status of your orders, you also pay for the order gets delivered. You can also, then there is a help and request portal where you can like raise a request or raise a concern for your order. So it's a like Amazon in general is like a very full-fledged vast application. Now coming to the development part, how Amazon was like is built. So in general, like when you start building an application, so you will like divide the application into three parts. One would be the client side, that is also called as the front end. Then another would be the business side or the server side, okay, where you actually have a server which will interact with the client side, okay, through a code, okay. And there's also the server will be connected to like a database, okay. So when we start developing an application, we like in general often have some engineers also often first design the solution for a particular problem or business problem. So once they like complete their design, even in system design we have like one who's what like some like we have like a breakdown as well, in which we have a high level design engineer and a low level design engineer. So high level design engineer is someone who's very experienced, like have a lot of experience in the industry, like 7 to 8 years of experience, who designed the solution for the problem on a high level basis. Like we would be using this particular tech stack for this use case, this particular tech stack for this use case. For example, for building a recommendation system in Amazon, you can use Python as a programming language, and then building some REST API, you can use a Java as a programming language. So on the basis of microservices, like different microservices, you build different components of the application, and then you club them together to build a full-fledged application, okay. So on a short, like if you are trying to build some sort of application for your practice purpose or your like portfolio or the resume purpose, so you would be require some front end programming language similar to HTML, CSS, React, JS, AngularJS to build the client side code, okay, or the UI, okay. And for the backend, you would be using some sort of a language like Python, Java, with some frameworks like Django, Spring Boot, Hibernate, or PHP, or some which like PHP is like kind of outdated language, but although you can use it, okay. So to build a backend language for database, you would be using some database engines like MySQL, MongoDB, or PostgreSQL to build the database part. And then also you can use some like mock-up application like Adobe XD, Figma, to just build the mock-up designs of the application, or for the prototyping purpose or the visualization. Then after building the different services of the application, you can club them together so that those different services can interact with each other, and then it can serve as a full product to the end user. And so Amazon also like sort of like, well, initially now when they had small user base, so they don't like initially when you have a small user base in an application, you don't often recommend because it's kind of also often a term called as cold start problem in data science,
Exactly.
where you don't have enough amount of data to recommend users. So for
Definitely.
that, either you can recommend things randomly or the basis of similarity between the products, that could be based on some tags or the content or description.
Exactly.
And then once you get large amount of data, so with the help of data science and ML models, you can recommend like good products to the users, okay. So yes, would you like to tell like how the recommendation would
Definitely.
more work?
So, as you just now mentioned about the multiple uses of how the development part goes on, like from the back end to front end to the services and the data source. Now, that once the data has been collected, that's where the data science starts working. That they have done everything and now they have collected data in MySQL, in MongoDB, and other different types of data sources. Now, each and every platform, if you talk about Amazon, banking system, any kind of platform is using multiple different types of data sources, and even sometimes they are also using the combination of MySQL to save some table and row column type of data. If they have to store some sort of images and some sort of document based data, they'll be using some sort of MongoDB. And sometimes, like if they are running some sort of advertisements on, maybe like if you take example of Amazon, which we are just now discussing. Now if they're running some sort of website advertisements on Facebook, maybe on Twitter, or anywhere, they will definitely be getting data from the APIs. Okay, so that is like, and obviously if you talk about Amazon also, they must be having some hard files also, like PDFs or text files also, if you talk about the internal structures. Now we have different types of data formats, and we are clubbing all of that because every data have some sort of information. Now to deal with that kind of such big data amount of information, that is where the data science comes into play. Now, you must have heard about the terms data engineers, business, data analysts, and data scientists. Now, that is where these three people get distinguished. Now, data engineer is a person who handles all the different kind of data, those vast kind of data which is coming in from any of the source, to manage the data and store it in a particular, either it can be a data warehouse or it can be a data lakes, which if you have heard about the terms Hadoop. Now Hadoop is a kind of a data lake where we are storing any kind of data which is coming up from any of the place. Okay, it can be like from API, it is coming in different format. It can be a text file or a PDF file in completely different format. Then we have is the any kind of table like format, which is SQL database and the MongoDB. So everyone is having different database and different type of storage system. So we are extracting data and storing it in a combined or a cumulative data source, so that any kind of person coming from data analyst or data scientist can pick up data from there and make the any kind of use of, like if you talk about data analyst, now he will be using any kind of business intelligence tools. It can be Power BI, it can be Tableau, which will help them analyze the data, get insights, help you with the storytelling skills, so that they can convince business that how you can improve products, how you can provide better cross-selling, better upselling and downselling, which products have been bought in which kind of seasons, or based on any kind of festival season, like we know in Diwali festival, or if we talk about the coming ones, so Valentine's is coming in February. So there we know that goods such as hearts, teddy bears, these are going to have a much bigger sale. But company have to store the inventories accordingly. So for that, how much sales was done previous year, then before that previous year, and so on. Based on that, they will doing a forecasting that, okay, this year, these are the products which are going to be sell the most, and along with that, this could be the possible quantity it's going to be selling. So they can manage their inventory much more efficiently without blocking their money. Along with that, they're having better uses of their resources and money also. So that is how they are using the intelligence. That is how they are using the power of data to manage their inventory, so that every order get fulfilled. Along with that, they are not have to spend extra on the storage space. So that is how they are using the power of data analyst to help them with a better management of system. Whereas if we talk about data science, now obviously data will be coming from those data source which has been accumulated by a data engineer. Now how the data scientist will help them, that he will start creating some sort of models, a machine learning model, which he will be taking, or which is morely as a AI part. Now he will be creating many kind of machine learning model, deep learning model, any kind of model, which will help business to see which product can be linked with which thing. Now you must have seen this particular example, that if you buy a phone, or if you just go to search for a phone, you get recommendation that with the phone, buy this charger, buy this screen guard, buy this accessories. Like, and for each and every product, you are getting accessories available. And imagine that Amazon have billions of product available, and to pick up that for this iPhone, this is going to be the recommendation which a customer might like to buy. It's a very difficult task, because if you do it manually, it is not possible at all. So that is where the power of data science come into play, which helps businesses to recommend these kind of products, so that they can increase their revenues, along with they're helping customers have a better customer experience. Along with that, even if you take again further, go more deeper, they're even improvising your own buying, like based on the data history, like the purchases you are making. Based on that, they also start recommending you product. Because okay, suppose you are a tech person, okay, and you are more interested in buying tech products. Now what happens is that as you're buying tech products on maybe monthly basis or on maybe quarterly basis, they'll start recommending you more similar kind of products, so that which you might like. So that is how they're influencing your buying behavior. And that is where you can see the power of data science. And it's not limited to this Amazon. This is just for one example, but there are multiple other domains such as finance, banking, uh, retail stores, DMart kind of example, retail store, Reliance Fresh, Amazon, every kind of business, healthcare sector also, every kind of business is using data science at full potential or at the maximum of potential they can use it for. And that is how these two domains have been going together. As we have seen with the example of this Amazon, these two domains go side by side. These two domains are going together to give better user experience, to give a better approach to do any kind of task, improve the efficiencies, to give better world. And that is how the tech is revolutionizing the things. But if we talk about the differentiations, because the topic is data science versus development, now let's talk about that part. Now, if I talk about development, so what do you think? Like, what all technologies are generally used, like as per the specific to our technology part? Which all technologies are generally used in the development part? Like the most common ones, which a student can start with, just the topic parts itself.
Okay. So, like in development, like if you're starting as a software developer, okay, then the first few like technologies which I would definitely recommend you to learn is like first I would like you to start with HTML, CSS, okay. So like HTML, HTML is a kind of a markup language which is used to build like simple web pages, okay. So yeah, definitely start with HTML, then CSS, then learn SQL programming language, right? Try to write some SQL queries on some mock databases, okay. Download some e-commerce databases, write to some queries on them, so that it would also help you design the database structure for the application as well. SQL would be the third thing. Fourth thing would be learn one programming language. People often start with C, C++, but C, C++ are not often used in modern day programming language. Rather, I would recommend you to go with Python. So Python is a language which can be used in both data science as well as in the software development.
Definitely.
So Python is very common nowadays, and that's the reason that Python has been in so much demand in the recent time due to like itself. Python was very powerful programming language, also used in software development with very good frameworks, okay, like Django. Plus, also it became popular with data science as well, okay, like some libraries like NumPy, Pandas, TensorFlow,
Exactly.
those kind of libraries. So definitely go with Python as a backend server-side programming language, okay. Then these basic would be the basic things that I would definitely recommend you to learn, okay. On the top of it, like learn some tools like VS Code, you can definitely learn, okay. Then Postman, like some sort of tools, then some database a GUI manager tools like MySQL Workbench, DB Viewer. It's up to you which one you want to use. PHP MyAdmin. Try to learn some of those kind of tools which will help you do the development, okay. So these would be like things which I would recommend you to start off with, okay. Then there are like in depth, you want to explore something, if you want to explore something in depth, then you have to go like deep dive into it. And with apart with the HTML, CSS, also go with JavaScript as well. Yeah, so these would be the technologies which I would recommend as a beginner to start off with.
Okay, that's definitely a great insights. And if I talk about data science perspective, now that will be completely dependent on you, that what kind of experience or what kind of things is more important for you, or what you are more capable of, or what goes easy with you. Like if I talk about, as I mentioned, like three possible job opportunities, which are like for the domains only: data engineer, data analyst, and data scientist. Now, if I talk about data engineers, it is more toward tool oriented. It's not about coding, but it was more oriented toward the tools. Like you have to work with DevOps part, the part of some DevOps. You will be needing the cloud services to have a good experience with the cloud services. Then you go with uh, obviously Python is like a very common and hugely used language, which is easy to learn. And you can go with like in the data science, data analyst, every particular domain nowadays is been using Python because it provides you with modules and libraries for each and every use case. As he have also said about the libraries of Python for the Django, which is used in the backend part, Flask for making APIs and those things. Similarly, in the data science and this data field itself, we are using Python for the data manipulation and data management also. So you should go for Python. Then SQL is very important command because, as we mentioned, data engineer is managing the data. So SQL is used to manage the data for sure. So SQL is the very important one. So these are some major tools and technology which you should definitely go with if you're talking about a data engineer. But if I talk about data analyst, now data analyst goes as a more onto the some part of tool and with the data management. Now the tools which we use in this is the Power BI or the Tableau. Now, Power BI and Tableau are the more business intelligence tools which help businesses to get the insights, to get a dashboard which can present things, and you can use visualization to create stories like how things have been revolving around. Along with that, if you have a good skills, you need a good skills with the SQL part. So again, you can see SQL is a very common language which everyone should go for. SQL, then Power BI or any business intelligence tool, along with Python, which will again help you a lot. But we also have a Excel tools, which is very common when we talk about a data analyst profiles. Now, again, when you talk about data scientists, now here the things slightly changes because we're now introducing the mathematical part, that we have to know a good maths. If you have a good knowledge about maths, if you think maths is something which makes you motivated, I'll say data science is a field which you can go for, which you will definitely gonna enjoy because when you talk about maths, so sometimes we feel like the integration, differentiation, which you everyone must have done in your schooling, metrics, trigonometry, or any other thing which you might say like x equal to that. Why we are finding the value of x?
Yeah,
That's a very common question every time. That why we are finding this value of x, y, z? What are these x, y, z, a, b, c, I, y, and so. Now, when you go to the data science, you'll get to know the actual meaning of those x values. Why you need to learn those x values. So if you feel like math is something which interests you, which motivates you, data science is one of the field which you can go for because the major requirement goes with Python and maths. Along with that, if you learn about SQL, that's added advantage. But we do have libraries which we go with, which is sklearn, TensorFlow, Pandas, NumPy, which is all the part of Python only. So if you have a very good hands-on on the Python along with maths, you are the one who's going to be leading this data science field also. Yes. So we are having like a lot of questions coming up also. So let's start with some questioning sessions.
Okay.
So here is a Vignesh Varan. So yes, yes, Ishjot.
So would we start with it? So let's start with this one question.
So Zayad Ansari.
Yeah. So we have one question.
Is masters in data science necessary? So no, it's not such that if you're doing for masters, definitely it will help you a lot because masters provide you with the better understanding of the mathematical and the in-depth knowledge about how the maths has been working around, how the models which we learn about or which we think of, which we heard about, such as random forest, linear regression. Now you can go into the depths of it when you go with the master's part. But if you want to go with the applied data science, which has been used by the companies, that's when you can, like, if you're having a basic graduation also, you can definitely go with it if you have properly used those library itself. Like if you know the pros and cons of each and every library or each and every model, the AI models and these. So definitely you are good to go with the data science. Okay, let's take the next one. So there's Anup Mishra. So
the scope of Angular will increase or decrease in the coming years. Okay. So yeah, Anup, from my side, I think the scope of Angular will decrease in the coming years. Okay. Since the recent trend is like the React is like having a good like upper hand in the market, and lot of companies are moving towards React initially, or even like those companies who have been working in the Angular for a long time have their existing code base in Angular. That's a different thing. But in general, if there is a new organization who wants to pick a front end tech stack, then most of the people are moving towards React. React is relatively easy to learn. Okay. React have a lot of other like like frameworks like Next. So Next is also very like a good framework with React. Okay. So I feel yes, the scope will relatively decrease in the coming years. Okay. But if you like want to switch to React, okay, as a program as a front end developer, so it shouldn't be tough for you if you are very familiar with Angular. It's like if you know C++, then you know Java, and if you know C++, Java, then you can also learn Python. So it's very much similar. Although syntactically there might be few things, although like both of them are built on JavaScript, so although both of them are just a flavor of JavaScript, so it should not be difficult for you to switch on React. Okay.
Okay. Then we have the Vignesh one,
uh,
Sundaram,
yeah.
for development
Yeah.
side.
For the development side, can I learn CSS, React along with Python and Django? Yeah, definitely. So nowadays the demand for the as a software development, there is a demand for like there is the demand for the full stack engineers. Okay. So when we talk about the full stack engineer, you should know front end. Okay. So in the front end, yeah, you should learn HTML, CSS, React. Okay. Perfect. Okay. And in the back end, for the full stack developer part, you can learn Django with Python. So most people as beginner, if you're starting off as a beginner, people learn Python, Django, and they just then they think it's complete. But I would also highly recommend you to go and learn Django REST framework as well. Okay, so it would help you a lot.
So what do you
Okay.
think, like Django REST
Yeah,
framework, how it helps?
yeah, it is very much popular in the current trend because the reason is simple. Django is popular due to the reason of Python, and Python is popular due to the reason that it is a common programming language between the data science and development. So a lot of ML packages are available in Python only. So people need to have some server side language or server side framework which works on Python. So Django, although there are three frameworks which work on Python as a server side, one is the Flask, another is the Django, another is the Pyramid. Okay. So that would help you a lot. So Django is very popular, although like there have been like TensorFlow.js has there also a library. There have been libraries, ML libraries, which are also there in like the JavaScript, the Node, and the
Yeah.
NPM. But still, they are quite similar. The community support is very much better right now as if in Python. So it will help a lot.
Okay, so we have a Rahul who's asking, what about data scientists and ML engineers? So as I mentioned, we have a three basic categories like data engineers, data scientists, and the data analysts. Now, when we talk about data scientists, obviously it belongs to a data scientist. But when we talk about ML engineers, ML ops, and similar, that all falls into this data science field only. But when we talk about data engineers, big data analytics, big data engineers, that all falls into this data engineering category. Whereas when we talk about business analyst, data analyst, they all fall into the category of data analyst only. But there are few more terminologies nowadays, such as AI engineers, NLP engineer, computer vision engineers, or computer vision AI scientist. So they all fall into these three categories only. There's not much of a difference, slight difference based on the kind of particular task you are going for, because all these jobs are more specific to particular part of these jobs only. Like if you talk about ML engineer, the ML engineer is using the main as a machine learning, but along with that, what was expected from ML engineer is that if you have basic knowledge of uh, cloud or the ops part, basically the cloud part, that is who is been asked or referred as ML engineer, that who have a main knowledge of data science or the ML part, machine learning, or the data science, plus a slight part of or slight information about the cloud computing. That is who we call it as an ML engineer. So Sohan, yes, yes,
Yeah.
please. Java Spring.
So someone is asking Java Spring along with HTML and CSS, and he also has the another query. Can I learn HTML, CSS in front end along Java Spring for backend? Is it worth good for sure? Uh, Definitely go in the first. I'll cover with the front end part. So definitely go with HTML, CSS. Do learn React as well when you're doing HTML, CSS, because HTML, CSS won't help you a lot. Okay, to build like the modern website which you see nowadays. Okay, so HTML, CSS, then do basics of JavaScript, and then do React. Okay, and in the React only learn the functional components and the ES6. Okay, so just Google out what is ES6 convention on JavaScript. It will help you on that. Okay, so it should this much you should do with the front end part. Backend part, you are asking, can I do Java with Spring? So Java, first into for doing Spring, you need to learn Java. Then you need to learn some core concepts in Java, how the object oriented programming works in Java. There are different concepts: inheritance, polymorphisms, okay, abstraction, encapsulation. You have to cover all those kind of stuff. Now it depends. Now there are legacy companies who have been working on Spring Boot, and some big companies also work on Spring Boot. Okay, it has a demand, but trending market is someone like if you look for like if you're looking for like startups and internships and all, so they are much popular in the Node and Django. Okay, so it might help you on that part. So plus with if you learn Django, Django has a quick learning curve. The Spring Boot framework has a relatively less learning curve. So as compared, like if I talk about mastering Django, so relatively you can master Django quickly as compared to mastering Spring Boot. Okay, so it has a quicker learning curve as compared to Spring Boot. So plus the if you're going with if you're like if you're doing React and if you do Node as a server-side language, so that is a full-fledged merge stack. So it can cover that. Merge stack is a full kind of a JavaScript framework as a developer. So you can cover whole merge stack in which MongoDB, Express, React, and Node. So that is like a particular tech stack which is also in demand as well. Merge stack and general are also in demand. Plus, in case if you're not doing Node, then relatively I would suggest to go for Django. And then like as compared to the market trend, Node and Django I would recommend as compared to Spring. But it's up to you. If you find that if you know one organization in which you are currently targeting and they work on Spring Boot and you think you can crack that opportunity, then it's good to go for Spring as a framework.
Okay. And it just come to my mind that as we say, like nowadays, that AI is able to create many websites very easily and very quickly. So how is it different from a development part from your end? Could you
Uh,
highlight on that part?
So AI in general can only right now like is can only build some static web pages. Okay, those web pages are like very similar to what kind of application you see on the when you use the Google tools like Google website tools, which build kind of static images where you provide some static images and some sort of text information, and it builds a kind of a static information. To build your own custom business logic, how you want to represent things to the user, how you want to interact with the user, AI has not move to so much into like that much deep to query on that so that it could build some dynamic stuff for the end user. So as for the static part, the AI can do it, but for the dynamic part, AI has a little way to go because it doesn't know what kind of logic or what kind of customization you actually want. And I guess there is a similar library in data science as well. Like for pandas, we have pandas with AI where we can write
Yeah,
the
yeah,
query in the
definitely.
text form, and
Definitely.
so that I you can take on that. Like
So
how is it
yeah, so
developed?
definitely, like as he mentioned, like because when we talk about data science, now I always say this to my students that when you talk about data science, code is available. You do not have to worry about the code at all. Reason being, when we talk about coding part, now if you know the logic that what should be applied over in which particular scenario, that is the key thing which you should learn when you talk about data science, business analyst, any kind of position regarding this data science. That if you know what logic is to be applied, that is the key that makes the AI and you as a differentiation. Like we do have now, if you talk like as you mentioned, like pandas with AI, which is able to create AI code. You just have to provide the data set and it will run. Like you just provide the prompt that I want to get this thing done from this pandas. Now that is how it is able to make things better. But obviously, when a company hires a data scientist, it's not about the coding, it's about the logical part, that how well you're able to come up with a business problem. Like if we talk about AI, you also have to give a prompt, and if that prompt is not good enough, if that prompt is not that descriptive, it will not be able to give you the correct code. So that is how it differentiates a actual person with the AI right now, at least. That if you talk about like as we talked about the website creation, where the dynamic and the basic logic part. Now similarly, if you know that I have to clean some data and remove some null values or outliers, now for that you have to specify or you have to identify that whether it has some outliers or not, or which method will go the best to fix this particular problem. Because code is available, if you know the logic you can just simply google it up, because now it's AI trending. But even if we go 2 years back when ChatGPT was not in that much of trend, now in that period also, when we used to study or when we have to write a code, so suppose if you want to just clean some null values or you want to print some image, now for that what you do is simply just go to Google, search it out that okay, print the image. You'll get a complete code, just copy it, paste it. But you should, like if you don't know how to implement that code, that is where it makes a differentiation. So nowadays AI also is just giving you those results which you used to get through the that web search only. That is how the AI has been and how you can make yourself much better. I'll just give one more advice over here, that if you when we talk about AI, like AI will replace humans or that, AI will not replace a human. We should make ourselves so better that we are using the power of AI, because code is there. Like, see, every code is available, even if you talk about Django, development, data science, any of the field. Code is already there, every kind of code. But how to implement it, that's what we have to learn. So we don't, if we focus on the logical part more nowadays, then you can get the code from AI directly. So it will make you as more productive person. And if you are able to harness this particular skill, that's when you'll able to crack so much heights into the coming scenario, into the coming world itself. Okay, we have another question from Vignesh
Hmm.
Paran.
So, what is the transition process from full stack developer into software engineer, big tech companies? What are the things should in order to like learn become software engineer, big tech companies? Okay. So if you are working as a full stack developer, so in general, I assume like you must be familiar with HTML, CSS, some front end JavaScript, some front end framework called as React or Angular. Okay, and you must be familiar with one of a backend framework, either the Spring Boot, Node.js, okay, Django, and all. Okay, so you must be familiar with this one knowledge. Now, if you want to move to big tech companies, okay, so like some people like who are also familiar with PHP tech stack also often term them as a full stack developers. So first, I would recommend you to first move to a modern day tech stack. Okay, either it could be a Merge stack, okay, JavaScript tech stack, Mongo Express, React, Node, or it could be like React with Django. Just move yourself to some modern framework, okay, and also then over that framework just learn some advanced technology. Like if you're working on React, then also learn about Next.js, okay. Then you need to like if you want to like move to big software companies, then like in big tech companies, okay, then yeah, data structures and algorithms you need to focus more, okay. Plus since nowadays data structure algorithm is also like being asked frequently, also have a saturation, so companies also trying to find a new way to like hire the talent, okay. So because for DS algo we have too many resources, okay, we have some like experiences as well with the other as well. So for them DS algo lot of content is available, so for that they are trying to try out something different, so they might focus on system design as well, okay. So depending on your experience, if you have like a very high experience, then they would go for high level design HLD. And if you have a relatively junior level experience, okay, for basically junior roles, they will go with LLD, low level design. Okay. So you need to train yourself in system design as well. And system design is such topic which can't be easily mastered. It takes like decent amount of practice to like have a good grasp on that subject. So you need to focus on system design, and also with the system design you will have the knowledge of APIs, database design as well, which will also come with system design as well. So yeah, you need to focus on like modern day tech stack plus DS algo plus system design plus database and design. That I would recommend to go with.
Okay. And like database design is also like a very important part in data science also. Like, that's what I was going to mention. Okay, so we have next question, which
SDS.
is DSA and system.
Okay.
Okay, is this is DSA and system design required for data science? Not that much, I'll say. DSA, if you have a basic knowledge of how to do better coding, like if you can improve your coding structure, obviously that is what we need a DSA part. Not that much of like finding the shortest distance or these kind of algorithms which are very complex. Okay, so we are not going to that much depth of the DSA. A basic DSA is required because the major use of DSA, as for data science, why will they will be testing your DSA is that you know how to do efficient coding, that you know how to reduce the time complexity of the model, or how to reduce the complexity of your data, like space complexity and time complexity. So that is what they are testing from your DSA skills. And if I talk about system design, so no, because machine learning, if I talk about machine learning or data science, it is more towards the backend part only. We are working in the backend part to help businesses grow, but we are not going to the front end part, or like we are just a part of the computer science itself. If you talk about like computer science as a whole domain, so AI is just a part of it. When you talk about back end, front end, database, and then API services, everything. So that is a very huge place. But when we talk about data science, it's a part of it which helps other services to work out as similar as back end or front end and everything other things. So system design, I'll not say if you have basic knowledge, that's good enough. If not, that's also fine. No issue at all. But I'll say that DSA, if you have good, at least basic to intermediate level knowledge, that will be a really plus point for you to show your coding skills itself. That much of DSA or system design is required for the data science. But yes, we do need the data based designs, like how you define the schemas, how you create the database architecture. So that is what is also required, but not the system design part. Okay, so we have, okay, any other questions if anyone have?
Yeah, if anyone has a question, they can ask. So, like on end node, we would like to have something for the
Yeah,
users. So from my end, I would suggest you like initial roadmap is like maybe like Sahil, you can elaborate on top of it. But like my suggestion is that like whenever you start as a like a software programmer, initially everybody starts with some basic programming languages.
definitely.
Okay, even if you aspire to become something on in a different field in a computer science, you in a college or something you only start with C++, right? So there's like a structured road to at least go for in a software programming world, that you have to learn one programming language, some basic data structures and algorithms, okay, and
Definitely.
then you can, depending on your basically interest, you can explore more on it, okay. So so like software development is a like a, for some path it is like a very well proven path, you will have a very core roadmap which you have to follow, and some path would be something which are relative new into the market and the industry.
Definitely.
So might be some like plus minus way you have to go around, or you need to figure out few things and how you can learn them, okay. So depending on your interest, learn what you want to learn, okay, and just try to master that skill, that's it, because every skill is in demand in the current industry and market, okay. Just one factor I would recommend you, just whatever skill you are learning, don't learn that skill because you see a current short term opportunity in it, okay. See a long term
Definitely.
opportunity would help you in the longer run, okay. Plus try to learn technologies which are modern in the market, and just like don't try to learn the outdated technologies, okay.
Definitely.
Okay, because some people, like in general, people start with PHP programming, okay. Learning PHP is not a bad thing, it will always help you, but for longer run try to learn that tech stack or framework which will help you in a longer run, okay. Yes, sir.
So that's definitely a good, very good insights given by Ishjot. So yeah, I'll do agree with him, and I would like to add some more points also. That definitely, if you're entering into the field of this computer science itself, now computer science is a very very vast field. It's not limited to development or data science. It does have the security, information security, which is nowadays is also very trending, because data is very much a lot. Data is available in every place, and privacy is the main concern nowadays. So data security, DevOps, the Sec DevOps is now been a new domain itself. Then cloud engineers we have. So there is a very very vast field. Computer science is now become. So do explore. At least go with each and every domain. Just go through the basic understanding of each one of them. Then choose which one is suitable for you. That is how you can have a better experience or better choice of place. Because if you just go with these two domains, I'll not say that you will be able to utilize all of your skills. You might be better with some encryption part or with the different kind of scenarios. So do explore each and everything, because if we're expecting about the students or anyone who is in the starting age right now, so it is always a good option to explore everything, because you don't know where you will come up with. Because nowadays new technologies such as blockchain, web3, so they are not also getting introduced nowadays. So there's limitless possibilities coming up nowadays, or quantum computers or hardware also. So that is where the domain is getting so much expanded. So do go with those things also. Try out with each and everything which you can go with. Give it a try. Like in a month, if you are able to just go through each and everything, it will help you explore all the possibility which you have. So that once you have explored all the possibility, you will be having a very good idea that what could be the possible future. And accordingly, if you choose a particular domain, it will be really, really good for you, which will help you in a long run. That you'll not get stuck with a shorter period of things. You'll go for the long run then. You have a better vision of future for maybe like 10, 20 years. You'll not be sticking to like 1 or 2 years, like, okay, if in this 1 year I'm gonna be do this and I'll be making this. Because world is changing so fast that in a blink of eye everything just get changed. So I'll definitely say that go for explore each and everything and choose a domain properly. We do have tried to come up a basics about development and data science, which is also definitely a very trending terms. So I hope this information will definitely be helping you. Uh, yeah, that's all from my side. And okay, we do have one more, Jayashri.
So I have a career gap of 5 years. What I have to do? So best solution for your like since you have a career gap of 5 years, like I would recommend you to start off with freelancing. Okay, just take some time. Okay, learn some skills on through online courses. Okay, try to learn up with some decent pace. Okay, and then just start doing freelancing. In freelancing, start picking up small projects. Okay, which I hope you can understand which would like there are few freelancing projects which are on contract basis, pay relatively less. Try to build your freelancing, and freelancing is something like if you invest 1 year in freelancing, you will start getting good results after that. So that it basically in freelancing, the amount of time spent in the freelancing market or the portfolio profile is very is directly proportional to what you will get in near future. So start over with freelancing, and before that just learn some tech stack or something, or you can go over the freelancing website, just figure it out what programming languages or tech stack is very much in demand, and then you can start off with freelancing and just build your portfolio. It will help you a lot.
Definitely, like
And
freelance. I'll just like to add because I was also used to be a freelancer in my starting career. So I have spent like 2 years into the freelance career, and that is where I'm now. I'm currently now. I'm doing freelance projects with the companies, and I got a lot of opportunity to learn a real time experience because after 5 years it becomes a difficult. The skills need to be upgraded. So because with the help of this freelancing work, you'll be able to know what is the trending thing going on in the market, in the industries actually. So this will really help you go with like upgrading your skills and then go for the freelance work, which will help you go into the near future or the future pace into it. So that will definitely help you go with the freelance and upgrade your skills. That is like the key point to every career nowadays. Okay, let's take another one. So is Python language is enough to start with data science, and is it necessary to learn R? So yeah, yes, definitely you can start working with Python as a starting part because R is specific thing. Like if you talk about R, it's also like the R is purely been created by the MATLAB company, which used to be like the original analysis tool. MATLAB was the original analysis tool which is used for every kind of domain, and they have introduced this R language so that for the analysis purpose only. But if you talk about Python, now it's been more diverse in nature. It come up with a lot of possibilities. So if you're coming up with Python, if you think like you are good with Python, definitely you can start with your data science skill. R is more specific to companies. Obviously, R is fast. R is better if you talk about from the data analysis perspective. If you're learning R, that is good enough. But most of the companies, I'll say like 70% companies are going with Python. 70 to 80%, I'll say. There are only 5, 10, or hard to hard, like because there are other languages also. So 5 to 10% companies are going for R, and another 10% includes Scala, Julia, and many other languages also. So yes, Python is definitely a good language to start with. So you can definitely go for that. Which domain is more demanding for data analyst? Okay, so domain I'm expecting the domain you are assuming. I'm assuming this the domain you're asking as healthcare sector, finance, and so on. These kind of domains I'm expecting that you are asking. So data analyst has been into each and every field nowadays. Let me give you a very simple example. I was working on a mechanical company. I was working in a tool development company where they're actually doing the mechanical operations, right? The actual hard mechanical operations, not the computer part. They are also using Python nowadays, and they are using this to analyze the data, that how they can make their processing production much more efficient. So you can imagine each and every domain nowadays is requiring a data analyst, a data scientist, or an engineer based on their company requirement. If a company is on a smaller scale, they obviously start hiring the data analyst. Reason being because they are able to, like, a data analyst can do a lot of things. Uh, some part of data engineers, some part of data scientists also, but they're able to give a good insights on a starting level also. So when you go and that's from actual experience, that when you go to any particular company, with a data science domain also, the initial work which you are going to get is for the data analyst only. That's the majority part. Okay, I'll not say like you can definitely score the AI engineers also, data scientists also, but that's how it has been going as a trending part. Like generally, because data scientists does require some experience about the data or the actual data. So mostly you get better job opportunities if you're starting on a lower level than if you're getting started into this data domain. Data analyst, if you're starting with data analyst, it is good to go with. You will get upgrade in your skills in like less than 6 months or a year itself. So you can definitely go for data analyst, and it's a demanding field for all. It's a demanding job opportunity for all the domains which you have. And what I would like to add one more point over here, that if you have your own prior skill, if you have some, so suppose if you have switched into this domain, and this is a general advice, not for him only. This is general advice that suppose if you are coming from a sales team, okay, if you have a background in sales and now you're switching to data science, if you are having a some experience with some other domain like HR or maybe some mechanical operations or some production engineers or like whosoever you might be, and if you're switching into this data science domain, I will highly recommend that if you have those skills, domain knowledge already, and if you're adding this data science skill, do not consider data science as a separate thing. It is a part to enhance that particular domain which you already had. So try using this data science to improve your original skill which you already had. Do not consider this that you will use your domain into this. Try using this data science in your original domain to enhance it, to make yourself so better that no one can replace you. That is I would advise as I give you for the domain specific part. So Prateek, we have next question.
So Pratik is asking, you got a placement in 22 and you're on bench and
How to find company and apply in that. I know automation testing and Java.
so yeah, Pratik, so by looking at your description, a doubt, query, I think you work as a like a test engineer, right? So like what you can do, first you can learn a good tech stack, okay, which you can learn it with online courses, okay. Now learning a good tech stack won't take much, shouldn't take much time if you like learn it regularly, okay, with your work as well, okay. Try to spend some time on the a new tech stack which is there in the market with demand, okay. So be it either it could be in the software development or it could be in data science, up to your flavor and taste, okay. Then just start applying to the organizations, okay. Do not hesitate by looking at the JD that I don't fit in the JD, or I don't fit for the role. How, what should I do? Just keep on applying, okay. You need to push yourself. Maybe by looking at the JD you might get to know some new technology, then you can learn some basics of that technology as well, okay. So basically then you will basically able to figure it out that these companies require this, so you can learn that, okay. So just you have to push yourself a little bit and just apply at maximum places, okay. So even if you think, okay, I'm not fit, there is no harm or something wrong in applying into that position. Just go and simply apply on for the position, okay.
Okay. So as we are just almost with the closing time, so we have to one more announcement also, that we are having a 390 week going on, where the talks we have just went through the technology stacks and everything. Whichever you want to learn, we have a plan going on where you can simply go with a where you can simply just enroll into a course, and if you're able to put some in persistency in that one, if you're able to do it within the 90 days, if you're able to complete that particular course in 90 days, you'll definitely get your whole refund back up to 90%. So definitely enroll to the courses which we are launching right now. We have courses for the development and for data science, data analyst, full stack. If you want to go for particular like mon stack and any other domains, we have courses for all of them. So definitely enroll into those courses. Give it a try. If you have a dedication, then you'll get money back also along with your knowledge. So you can upgrade your skills on almost a very minimal of the prices. So that is all for today. Let's take this last question by Singh. That what are all we need to get the data science jobs as freshers? So I'll say, as Ishjot just said, that start applying for jobs. If you have done your study part, then start applying for jobs, because it's no harm at all. Like it's not affecting you at all. But if you're applying for suppose hundreds of jobs, do not get shattered that okay, I'm not getting any interview calls or so on, or I just got 2 or 3 calls, because people, there are huge supply of people also. If there is a demand for jobs, there is a huge supply of people, and to stand out, you have to do consistent efforts into it. That's when you will be able to crack up a job. But if I talk about projects, so definitely if you're able to do some good projects, that will definitely give you an edge over other candidates to get your resumes much above or much highlighted in comparison to other people. And that is like a combination, like that is a combined uh, review for both the kind of people. So that's all for today. Thank you, Ishjot.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you everyone so for staying for with us. That's all for today. Thank you. See you in the next videos.
Same
That's
from my side. Thank you, Sahil, for giving so much best insight to the user. Okay, so everyone just try to basically explore from your end what best thing you find for yourself. Okay,
definitely.
and just then put in the effort. Okay, there would be like some take some time to research on it and then try to go in that direction, because putting the effort in that direction and then coming way all the back and switching to a different direction would rather waste your time
Waste your
as well.
time,
So
definitely.
instead, just take your spend some time beforehand, then try to take a better decision where you want to build your career in, and then go into then go and basically try to invest the effort and time in that direction.
Definitely, definitely. So that's all for today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.